This is Intoxicated Literature.
Okay. Hello, I am Evelyn Crow.
And I am Daniella Drake.
Welcome to Intoxicated Literature, and tonight we are talking about one of my favorite series. It is Lord of the Fading Lands by C.L. Wilson.
This has cat dragons.
It's cat dragons! And it used to have, like, some of the most atrocious covers, like the old school fantasy covers.
I'm actually kind of sad. I saw that they were updated, and I was like, no.
I know, I got so sad. But they were so, like, people were like, ew, these covers are bad. I loved them. They
were so great. I loved them.
Think of old romance covers.
Yes.
And that's what they look like.
Yes.
They were amazing. I loved them. But they have recently been updated. So.
Which to be fair, they do look really good now. They look better probably.
Yeah.
But I loved the old ones because they were so good.
These are like original romantasy books.
Yes. Exactly. Okay, before we get into it, spoilers.
Yes.
We will spoil this entire book. We will not spoil the entire series because it's been a long time since we've read it.
Honestly, can't remember what happens in the series.
Can't remember what happens. We will read the rest of them, but right now we're only talking about the first one, so lucky you.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll spoil this whole book, though, for sure.
Yes,
and,
for sure.
There are not actual lots of spicy times in this book, but, like...
There are some.
It's, like, hints of spice. Lots of slow build, heat kind of moments.
Yes.
But it's good.
We do swear like sailors as well.
And I'm on my third
if you
drink,
don't like
so.
swearing. Yeah, if you don't like swearing, this is probably not the podcast for you.
Speaking of that, what am I drinking?
What are you
I
drinking?
don't even...
We're drinking the Flaming Sunrise.
Yes, and it's basically orange juice and Fireball.
It sure is. It's cinnamony.
It's cinnamony, and it's my husband's favorite drink, actually.
I know.
He has no taste whatsoever. And
yeah, I wasn't gonna say it.
No, I love some don't. So
except that he has exquisite taste because he chose you.
But yeah, I am drinking that, and it is fire because cat dragons.
Yeah, cat dragons.
We don't see enough of them in this book, but they do exist in the series.
No, we definitely don't. So I do want to talk about that, like, right out the gate. I want to talk about the fact that every time he changes into his Terran form, which is the cat dragon form, I'm a 50-50 whether I picture a panther with wings and, like, fire, because they do breathe fire,
right?
Or just a house cat.
Well, it's black.
Sometimes,
it's a black cat.
Oh, yes.
For sure.
But sometimes it's just, like, a little house cat in my mind, and it makes me smile so much because I love it, even though I know that's not the intention.
On his back. It's definitely huge.
Oh no, it's huge. It's still a big cat, but it's a house cat, not a panther.
Oh my god, you're so funny.
And it's 50-50 what pops into my brain, and I couldn't tell you why. I could not tell you why one or the other appears. But that is the way that my brain works. So you're welcome.
You are hilarious. Oh my god. I'm just picturing this badass cat, and you're just like,
yeah, I know.
Cat.
I know. But he breathes fire.
He does absolutely breathe fire, and they have wings, and they're like fucking cat dragons. Who doesn't like cat dragons?
It's so good.
No, these are the best books. You guys, look, y'all. You pick up these books, and you start reading it, and you're like, why am I reading this? And then you keep reading it, and you can't stop reading it.
It's so true, though.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
They're amazing. These books are amazing.
This was romantasy before romantasy really existed.
These are fated mates before fated mates were a thing.
Exactly. Yes.
A thing.
I do want to talk about, there are a couple of tropes in this book that I generally am not a fan of, but I appreciated the way that she handled them in this book.
Well, because we did talk about fated mates before.
Yes.
And you said you didn't like fated mates because...
I'm not a huge fan of fated mates because I feel like there's not a lot of agency. But what I liked about this is there's not a lot of agency for the man. But the woman can choose to accept it or not.
I know. And the guy just has to wait. And he's just like, please accept it, or I'm
Exactly.
fucked.
And that's my main gripe is I don't like the lack of agency.
Mhm.
That's why I don't really like Fated Mates. And to be honest, I would like for him to be able to choose too. Like, I don't like that he doesn't have a choice, but I like that the woman definitely has a choice to accept or not. And she is not affected in a bad way if she doesn't accept.
Absolutely true. She just
So
has to.
I appreciate so much that that's how this was handled in this book.
Well, they do say though
Also-
it's not a conscious decision. Like her
No.
soul decides to let him in or something.
Right. Yeah.
It's there's magic.
Which-
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's still Fated
Yeah.
Mates. So, but I did enjoy that there was at least some effort
Yes.
to give some agency to this trope that you don't see a lot of agency in.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about the age gap a little bit
Yes.
because that is also a trope that you find a lot in young adult for some reason.
Well, because
where-
teenage girls always like the professor.
Right, but in this case, it's like 1,000-year-old
I know,
person.
She's so old. Oh my god. She is so
And
old.
I'm always, this is why I have the problem with it, because I'm just like, how much shared life experience do you have with, when you're thousands plural of years old with a 24-year-old woman?
I know.
Because that's how old the main character, Elisette,
Mhm.
is, right? But in this book, she at least tries to explain a little bit by having them go on their first flight together. And that was one of my favorite scenes, actually, because he says, like, you're reminding me of the first time that I flew on my own, and you're reminding me of these feelings that I had. And it's kind of like reinvigorating this sense of life and purpose in him, because everything is new and exciting to her.
Well, they have that conversation a couple of times.
Yes.
And they have it before that first flight, actually, because she's like, I don't know
why
you would choose me. I am so young compared to you. You must see me as a child. And he's like, well,
Yeah.
you are young. And at first she's like, ouch. But he's like, no,
Yeah.
no, listen, you don't understand. I am enjoying the sense of wonder that you have.
Yeah. Exactly.
That you are bringing to my eyes once more. Because I have
Yeah.
seen a lot of things. And everything is just the same now. And to see
Right.
everything through your eyes is new.
You're reminding me to enjoy
Yes.
the things that I've taken to be mundane.
Mhm.
And I think, and I appreciated that she took the time to kind of interject that in.
Yes.
Because a lot of times it just gets glossed over.
And yay, she's not 18.
Yay! I'll take 24.
24, that frontal lobe is developed. I will take it.
Mostly, she's still got one more year, but we're close
You know
enough.
what? She can go into a fucking bar and they won't card her. So I will
Yes,
take it.
yes. Absolutely agree. I was thrilled with 24, so whatever.
I mean, so it is addressed, it is talked about, and I do
Yeah.
appreciate
Yes.
that fact.
Which absolutely appreciated that for sure. Especially because this is not a new book. This is not a new series. This has been out for a long time.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that even in the infancy, is that the word that I'm looking for?
Yes.
Okay. In the infancy of the genre.
Yeah.
Like that she was actually taking the time to acknowledge like this might be problematic and this is how I'm kind of making it okay.
Right.
And I appreciate that so
Yes.
much.
And I want to also thank Felicia Day for bringing this to our attention because we also read this during the Vaginal Fantasy days.
We did. We did.
You guys have no
And I
idea
remember-
how many books we read because of Vaginal Fantasy.
I remember how excited they were when they found out there was a series that literally had cat
Oh
dragons.
my
in
god, it was cat dragons.
It was so exciting. They're cat dragons. I wish they would reboot. Like, of all the reboots we need,
Vaginal Fantasy. is
Vaginal
definitely
Fantasy?
one of them.
for
Yes.
sure. Yes.
But
100%.
so the way that cat dragons work, so you have Terrans, which are cat dragons, right? And
Yes.
they are tied to the Fae in a mystical, magical way, right? They are tied together, and if one dies out, the other dies out. They are tied together. And then you have the Terran soul, and he's like the only one, right, that can change into a cat. He can literally, he's a shifter.
He's the only one that is Fae and Terran.
He's a shifter.
Yeah,
You guys,
basically.
he's a shifter. He's a Terran shifter.
Yeah.
Yeah. This book, the series, you have no idea.
It's so good.
So good. It's got everything.
It's got everything.
Mm-hmm. So he is the Terran soul, and he rules the Fae. And he's the lord of the fading lands because they are dying.
Yeah.
The Terran are dying. And that's how the series starts, because you see, it's really sad. It's depressing. But he goes and he finds his fated mate, and the whole first book is literally him wooing.
Yeah, I will be honest, I was a little frustrated when the end of the book came and they were not yet.
But you are the queen of the slow burns.
Well, this is the thing though, is that because there is the trope of fated mates, that's inherently not a slow burn.
Okay, but she has to agree.
Yes. And that is something that I do appreciate. That is a twist that I appreciate for sure. But this book is really just about the courtship. Like, not a lot actually happens. Okay. But this is the other thing, is that this is billed as a romantasy, this whole series. I would argue that it's more epic fantasy than romantasy.
I would tend to agree.
Because as the series progresses, it does become more epic. There's a lot more magic. There's a lot more politicking. It
progresses. There's politicking all the way through this book.
But it's also like the world is going to end stuff. Like it becomes a lot bigger than you think it's going to be with this first book. Like you feel like the series is just about them.
Right.
Because this first book is so heavily invested in just them.
That's true.
Right? But it's also setting up a lot of the world rules, like the world building.
It's so funny because when you read this book and it just starts with just them, it really feels like the first part of a really large book.
Exactly.
It feels like the first third of a really long book. And it makes me wonder if the publishers got a really long manuscript and went, okay, we're going to cut this book into thirds.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to end it here.
Yeah. And I could definitely see that.
I mean,
being
fine.
A thing.
Yeah. I want to read the rest of the series.
I still enjoyed it. I don't want it to make it sound like I don't enjoy it.
I gave it 5 stars. I mean, it's a good book.
I loved the series too. Yeah. Like it made me read the entire series. I inhaled it. Like it was. I read it so fast.
It's one of my favorite series ever.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But it has that introductory feel.
Yes.
To it.
So this book is a lot of setting up the world, setting up the rules, setting up the factions, and that's just a huge part of it. So you don't get a lot of forward momentum, which is fine as long as you know that going in. Yeah. Like as long as you're aware that that's what you're gonna get. Like I don't want you to go in thinking that this is gonna be a standard romantasy where it's like they fall in love and then by the end they're.
It's definitely part of the series. It's not a standalone.
Exactly.
It is not a standalone romantasy where you're going to be like, oh, now it's going to be this other couple. It is definitely just about them in part of a series.
Yes.
And I guess you could say now it ends on a cliffhanger, but it's just
kind
part of the series.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
So that's what I would say. And it's the magic and the world building is so amazing.
It's so cool. There are so many aspects to this world that I love.
Oh God.
The whole Fae culture is fascinating.
It really is.
Me. Like this idea, there's a part in the book where because the Fae men their like entire job is to protect Fae women. Like that's like their entire
I mean, I do kind of like wish that the women were a little more martial and had a little bit more. Yes.
I agree, but they actually talk about it in the book why they don't, which I thought was really interesting because like there's a moment where she's expressing her fear of what's inside her because she has this nightmare where the High Mage finds her and she was like, I remember when they were exorcising me because I was having these seizures and I wanted them to die and I pictured so clearly like their limbs being torn apart and like literally their bodies just like exploding, and it was so upsetting to me, and I would never want to do that, but I think I could have. And he says, Fae women are strong, but because of their empathy, they're incapable of killing. So there's this kind of, and this is what she kind of does, I feel like, is she sets up these rules, but she explains it. It's like, Fae women are strong, and if given the chance, they would kill someone, except that they have such a deep empathy and compassion that they literally can't.
There was a part of that really bugged me, and I wish, again, I do like the series, but I felt so sorry for the men who had not had a physical touch by another person because of all of the fighting they'd done and then carried with them.
Right.
And then women wouldn't touch them anymore because of what they carried with them.
Right.
And I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. That's horrifying. Yeah. I had the same reaction. It was depressing.
Oh my God.
But that's partly what kind of makes Elisette, or Ellie, I'm going to call her Ellie because it's just easier, but that's kind of what makes her a big deal. Like, they don't even know what she is in this book. They don't know why she is this fated mate. The first fated mate ever.
That's true. Terran souls were not supposed to have fated mates. Ever. When they become a fated, like, when they become a Terran soul, they just know, I will never have a fated mate.
They're not going to have a fated mate.
Ever.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
To have one.
So this is a huge deal. It's huge. And
he's so funny about it, too. Because it's such a tumultuous process. And he's so like, rawr.
It makes him really unpredictable.
He's such a growly alpha guy during the whole book. It's so funny.
Yes. But this is what kind of makes Ellie a big deal, is even in the first few meetings with her new Fae contingent, basically, they have these quintets, this set of 4 warriors that are assigned to her
5
and are now going to be her protectors.
Quintet.
Was it 5? I thought it was 4.
Yeah.
Oh, quintet is 5. I can't count.
Or no Latin. So
I don't know Latin.
Or math.
No.
5, right?
Yeah, none of that. I think you're right, because quartet would be 4, obviously. Yes. Anyway, so there are these 5 Fae warriors. Thank you for clarifying. That would have been embarrassing. But she heals one almost immediately. The oldest Fae who has killed unknown. It's so many that at this point even he doesn't know. And he's carrying with him these souls of these people that he's killed. And he can't laugh. He is unable to feel joy, basically. And all she does is put hands on him and just wishes him well. And suddenly, he's cleansed, basically, of all these past deeds. And so now he's like, I will do whatever you want. I don't care what it is. I am yours forever and always. Exactly. And everyone sees that though, and they're like, what is her deal? Because it's so out of the ordinary. It's so unheard of.
Well, and that's the thing, is that's another trope, is that is here, is that she's not like other girls, but at the same time, she's not like other girls. She's adopted because they found her as a foundling on the side of the road, her parents did, and took her in. And I think they really did do the best they could for her. And I absolutely think they loved her, and they raised her as their own.
Yes.
And
they see her as their daughter. There's no difference between her and the twins that they had later.
But she is different. She doesn't look like everyone around her. She doesn't really act like everyone around her. And she possesses this really subtle magic that she doesn't even know she's using. And the Fae barely know she's using.
Yeah, it's so subtle. And it's so, they talk about, it's kind of it made me think of Wheel of Time, the way they talk about weaves and stuff. But they can see her weaving these super, super fine threads, but at the same time, she's so overpowered that the power she's putting behind these super, super tiny threads, it's crazy. And even Rain, her mate, is like, I don't know how you're doing this. Like, I don't think I could do that. Like, that's so fine a weave, and you're being so subtle, no one even knows that you're doing it. You don't even know you're doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting the way that C.L. Wilson handles the magic system, because the way that the Fae, I love everything about the Fae.
Well, yeah, they're Fae.
I love everything about the
They're
Fae.
Fae. Who doesn't like the Fae?
But like at the same time, yes, but I love that there's like they are wildly overpowered, but there's a balance.
Yeah.
Right? So every time they kill someone, they take on their soul. They take on their darkness or whatever. Like, they feel it and they carry it with them forever. There's a balance there, which you don't get in a lot of series. It's like they can just do what they want with impunity.
Well, and also,
basically.
like, they can't use magic just willy-nilly. They have a limit to it. They can't just use it unlimitedly. And,
right. There are rules. And then, of course, there are, like, the Dalriesan, which are, like, outside of the rules or whatever, but it's a smaller piece, and it's kind of what happens when they go rogue, right?
And even then, I think they still have to abide by, I'm strong in spirit, but I still can't use spirit unlimitedly.
Right. Yes. They're still limited.
Yes. They're not like the mages are the bad guys. And
I do want to talk about the mages a little bit.
The mages are the bad guys, and they apparently trap and use spirits or demons or like the bad essence, that which shall not be used, as the Fae say, to use magic. I
just feel like I really like a story where the bad guys have some redeeming quality.
Oh yeah, they have none whatsoever.
No, they're just bad. They're just bad.
You just know they're bad, and they will always be bad, and they will always be bad forever.
Forever.
They're just bad.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And they're just really bad.
It's so true.
And even the Fae are like, you can't trust the elves, they're evil. and you're like, but are they? Forever?
I did kind of like that, though. Like, I think she was really smart about the way she approached this, because this huge war happens thousands of years ago. To the Fae, they're like, I lived this. It was terrible. The mages are awful. There's no redeeming quality for them. They're just bad. They're manipulative. They're awful. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. You can't stop them. We need to do what we can to keep them in check, whatever. And then you have the mortals, who have very short lifespans in comparison. And it's been thousands of years since this huge war, and they're starting to go, but did it really happen the way the history book said? Or maybe there was some confusion. And the Fae are going, no, there was no confusion. I was literally there when it happened. But the humans are going, tomato. And it's like, I don't know, it feels a little too real for me in these times that we're living in, where it's so easy to forget something that happened 80 years ago.
I know.
Hasn't even been 100 years.
It kind of struck a chord this time reading it again. Like when I read it before, it didn't feel so real.
Exactly.
And now it does a little bit.
Yeah, and
I agree.
And I was just like, damn, that hit, that landed in a way that it did not the first time around.
Did. And I was reading and I was just going, ooh.
Yeah.
But but maybe we lived through it the first time.
But I liked it because it makes you stop and go, oh shit. This is something that happens. This is something that is plausible. And it makes it feel even more real. Yeah. Even though this is a completely made up world and it's got cat dragons, it's like
well, fantasy books have been used forever.
For sure.
And people always say, oh, you read fantasy. I'm like, but have you read fantasy? Have you really read
Exactly.
fantasy? Because fantasy is used so often to reflect the political environment that is in our world right now. It is amazing what a good job it does, actually, to reflect that. And if people would read more fantasy, I think it would just be beneficial. People just should read more fantasy. So,
absolutely.
there is my opinion, and
I'm with you 100%.
there you go. So, I actually really liked the Fae too because they would all communicate via mind link.
Yes.
And they would make fun of Rainier. His name is Rainier.
Yes.
Endlessly.
I loved it. They kept him grounded.
Oh my god! Like
it was so good.
Every time he did anything to woo his fated mate, it was like, you're playing with children now. Yee, the king of the Fae is playing with children. That's
it was so good for him too, though, because he took himself so seriously.
He was such a god.
Stick in the mud.
Was.
Yeah.
He was so. Bleh.
Yeah.
He needed some fun, and he needed to relax.
And it was great too, because the one that was making fun of him the most was the oldest one that had all of these scars on his soul, basically. And then he gets healed. Now he's like, ha ha, point and laugh at you. Like, look at what you're doing. And it was actually really cathartic in a way, because you're like, well, this guy's poking fun at you. Like,
I know.
You need to get on the same page.
I know. So true. Oh my god.
What did we think of Rain as a male protagonist?
He was a little too alpha male for me.
It's really funny to me because the first time I read this series, I loved him.
Oh god, me too.
And that was 20 years ago, I want to say.
I don't think it was that long ago. I think it was.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't think so.
I think I was early 20s when I read this. I'm pretty sure. When Vaginal Fantasy was happening, pretty sure.
20 years ago?
Yeah, I hate to point it out to you, but we are old. Because I think I was just out of college.
No, you will stop talking right now.
I mean, I can look it up if you want me to.
Oh my god. No, it was 2014, right?
I don't think so.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, we are just gonna pretend.
Wait, let me look it up, because now I'll feel bad if I was wrong. So let's see. We're gonna go with 10 years.
Yes,
How about that?
I'm going with 10 years.
Okay, fair. Okay, so 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
When we read this series the first time, I was all about Rain. I thought he was hot stuff.
Yes.
This time around,
I thought he was not so great.
Much. He was too overbearing. Yes. And I wanted to be like, my dude, you need to just back the fuck
off.
My
perimenopausal self was like, dude, I'm over that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not having it this time
my
around.
My younger self...
And I'm not saying he wasn't attractive.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, okay.
My younger self was definitely like, I love you.
Yeah.
And my older self was like, no, you need to sit your ass down.
Pretty much. Yeah. It definitely changes your perception of things. Yeah. You know what? I'm not complaining.
I was not complaining. I mean, he's still very hot. And
very hot.
He does do things that even now I'm like going, okay, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I like how he treated, was it Cassandra?
Yes.
I was all over that.
Yes.
So.
But then she gets jealous. And I'm just like, girl.
Okay, but to be fair, she always felt.
I'm not going to be fair.
I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be completely fair.
I don't want to be fair.
I'm going to be. She always felt like the outsider. Always felt like she didn't look up to snuff.
Everyone was always telling her that she wasn't pretty, she wasn't good enough.
And Cassandra was the epitome of beauty to everyone else. She had no reason to think that Rain would be anything other than everybody else would be fawning over her. She had no reason.
I know. Except that they're fated.
She doesn't understand what that means.
That's because she's 24.
She's 24.
Yeah.
He also got to enjoy her jealousy a little bit.
That's true. He did enjoy
Yeah.
that. That's true. But I did like the way that he handled Khalisad. Like, he was just like, you're gonna stop now.
Uh-huh.
Because if you don't, it's gonna go really badly.
All
for
of
you.
the Fae were like, fuck you.
Yeah. They did not, for a second, entertain that she was attractive.
I was like, I love you guys.
It was so
I
good.
love you guys so much.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Ugh.
it's amazing.
Love it. Yeah.
I actually really liked the court scene when her previous fiance... Oh, her fiance! Her previous one!
Oh my god.
Oh my god, he was the worst.
That guy was gross.
He was so gross. So there is a little bit of, like, essay, I guess.
Yeah,
Slight
I would
essay.
say yeah. Yeah.
There's no trigger warnings in this. It was published a long time ago.
A long time ago. But, like, in this culture, there's this idea where if a man puts his quote-unquote mark
He gives you a hickey.
yeah, on his intended or on his girl or whatever, then you are now his property. Which, everything about that, gross. Everything about that is gross. I did not
It does
enjoy
not have
any
to
aspect
be
of that.
Wanted, apparently. He could just put it on
No!
you. Anywhere.
She tried so hard to get him to go away, and he would not back off. She wanted no part of him.
But that whole court scene was amazing.
It was so good.
And it was just watching him get his comeuppance. And even his
Yes.
parents being like, shut up and sit down, we got our money.
Yep.
Was just chef's
So
kiss.
Yeah.
And I loved it so much. Even though I knew he would become a problem later, I still was like,
Yes.
you suck.
Yep.
And you sit there and doing it.
And it was satisfying to see the king be like, I'm done with you now.
Yes.
And you better be done too.
Mhm.
And even he's like, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
fair enough.
Like, you aren't a
I'm
part
done.
of this. Your
Yep.
parents have already accepted this, and you are not a part of this
Exactly.
anymore.
Yep. Yep.
Ugh. I was
Yeah.
pissed at her parents for just letting her be
I
in that
know.
room with
Like,
him.
that seemed so naive.
No, her mom did it on purpose.
I know. But, like,
Ugh.
gross. Why would you want your daughter to be in a relationship with someone that you know is going to assault her?
I think she hoped it would be consensual. Eventually. I will add the eventually.
Yeah.
Um,
That's an important
yes.
qualifier.
I will add that word.
Yeah.
Definitely was not initially. I don't think it ever would have been because obviously fated mates. But
yeah.
Ugh.
But also she, like, from the jump, she was, like, not into it.
No.
She didn't like him. She didn't trust him. And, like, she had that, like, magical Shaidalan or whatever where she could truth see. And she knew what his character was, and she didn't like him. Like, she didn't know that that's what it was at the time, obviously. But
well, I also think...
But she didn't like him.
I think she's definitely... it would definitely have been the kind of marriage where... I don't know, he just didn't wake up one morning.
It's so true. It's so
and
true.
she just honestly
And it
wouldn't have
would've
known why.
No, it would have been plausible deniability because she would not have known why. It would have been literal self-preservation, and, like, she would have been clueless. She didn't even know she had magic until, like, 50% through the book, so...
Oh, God. It's like, I don't know, man. She just would have dreamed that she killed him, and then she woke up and he was dead next to her, and she's like, I don't know, man. He just died.
I don't know. I was asleep. Someone must have broken in. I don't know.
He just died. I don't know. Thank God, though, because I hated that guy.
But yeah, I loved his parents just being like, yeah, we're good. We're good. Break the betrothal. This is plenty. This is good. No problem. We're selling the butcher shop. We're fine.
We're retiring. We're going on vacation. We're excellent.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, God.
Oh my God. But you know he's gonna come back because he knows she has magic.
He definitely is a fucking weasel. He knows that she has magic, and he knows that she can do things that would bring him wealth and goodness. Because when Rain starts listing off all the things that were like good luck that happened to her family after she was found, you start going, oh shit.
Yeah, it was all these coincidences that when you don't really list them off all together seem pretty lucky. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you go through the list and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's like,
that's
it's like, so no one's really been sick, and when you needed to get a job, you got a job, and then this happened, and this happened, and this.
Her mom was barren and then suddenly has twins.
Right when she wants to have, like, wants them.
Yep.
And,
her dad's hands are crippled.
Miraculously
magically heal. Yep.
And it's like, wow.
He gets a commission from the king right when he needs it the most. Like, it's just like, all together, you can't ignore the fact that it's more than coincidence.
Yeah.
And even though she doesn't want to acknowledge it, even she's like,
that might be a little weird.
That's a lot.
that might be a little more than coincidence. You might be right.
Yeah.
And you know that, because it's mentioned several times, that a child with her likeness was stolen from the High Mage.
Yes.
Around the same time that she was found.
Yep.
So you know that she's connected to the mages somehow.
In some way.
But you don't know how.
Yep.
And she has one real weakness, and that is her friend, who is from Eld, which is connected to the mages.
And there is an aspect, if you're born in Eld, they do some kind of ritual or something when you're an infant that makes you impressionable and able to be controlled by the mages, which honestly sounds gross.
Yeah.
And problematic, and I don't like it.
Because the Eld are evil and unredeemable.
Exactly. And her friend's mom was born in Eld, so any mage could show up and take control of her.
Which happens.
Yeah. So it's problematic, but cat dragons.
But what we're saying is that it's complicated.
It is complicated, and that's what makes it so cool, is that there's so much going on, and you do dive in a little bit into the politics. Like, you start to kind of see who believes the Fae and who doesn't, who is kind of greedy and is willing to open trade with the mages just because it's been long enough, they're probably not a problem anymore, and we could make money.
Yeah.
They're not really thinking that there might still be any danger. Even the queen is manipulated into being jealous of Ellie.
Oh, yeah.
And even that whole thing, like at the end when she makes her drunk and then gives her that special coffee
like
blend or whatever,
orgy in the throne room.
And
so funny.
it just backfires so spectacularally, and it's like,
oh my god,
you can't just set someone up. Like, it's gonna come back to you. Like, anything that you put out into the universe is gonna come back to you, and that's exactly what happens. And it's instantaneous, basically.
Yeah, this is definitely really good. They aren't even married at the end of this book, so
nope.
This is the slowest burn in the universe
for Instamates, especially.
Yes.
Like, I was like, this is insta love, so I thought
it's not insta love.
No, it's not. It's insta lust.
Yeah, because there's definitely a lot of I yearn for you and I burn.
That
for
is
you,
true. Yes,
but they don't consummate anything for a while. So
they do have that one like spirit consummation, which I feel like is cheating, but whatever.
But it's like, okay, it's not real. I don't count that.
It's not real. It was still hot to read, but it's not real. But yeah, it is the slowest burn.
It's so slow. It's not even the first book. You have to read the next book.
They do kiss multiple times in this book.
But if you like slow burns, this is for you.
For sure. Yeah.
Because it is slow.
Even I like slow burns, and even I was like, they're not married yet. Because I got to the end of the book and it just ended, and I was like, wait, really?
Oh god, I'm rereading it and I'm going, Jesus, just get like a fucking in room or something and just do it, because.
But also, you know what? She's 24. He's thousands of years old. I don't mind them taking a little time to get to know each other.
My god, it's the slowest burn in history.
But yeah, for Fated Mates especially, I felt like it was a very slow burn. But the rest of the series definitely picks up.
He is very respectful of her innocence and her, like...
He absolutely is, which I appreciate.
So, I mean, I will say that. He is very, like,
Yeah.
okay, we will take it slow. And they do.
Yes.
Which is
And
nice.
they do. So
So
slow.
So
slow.
Oh my god. Even after she's drugged with an aphrodisiac, he's still like, oh, you are incapacitated. So we...
He literally flies himself to the beach. He's like, I can't be here.
This is so hard. I can't do this. And then leaves. And you're just like, motherfucker.
That's what she was thinking. She was like, God damn it. What does a girl have to do?
I can't even have drug sex with my fated mate.
But he gave a vow to her dad that he wouldn't before they were married. So can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you though, these are really good books.
They're so good.
Really good books. I am not
I hope
exaggerating.
more people read them.
They're
yeah.
so good.
They're so good.
No.
I can't wait to reread the rest of the series because honestly, it's been so long I can't remember what happens.
That's the thing, is like, I'm rereading it going, God damn it, I'm gonna have to read the rest of the fucking series again.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to.
Yep.
Because I read the first one and I'm like, God,
I need to know what happens.
I have to read the rest.
It's so true.
I don't know what she puts in them, but whatever she
know.
does, I need more of it. So thank you, C.L. Wilson. I'm hooked officially on your books, so I appreciate it.
Again.
Okay, so what are we reading next?
Gideon the Ninth.
Gideon the Ninth! It's so good.
This is a change of pace because it is different from any other book you will ever read.
Yes.
But it's so incredibly good. So until next time, I am Daniela Drake.
I'm Evelyn Crow.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Intoxicated Literature. Drink well, friends.